this evening. I'm going to call the meeting. We're actually going to start with the 2025-26 proposed district budget. I'm going to call that meeting to order at 7:03. Do you make a recommendation or
Nope.
No? So I'm just going to read. So the purpose of this public hearing is an opportunity to present the FY 25-26 proposed budget for consideration of the residents and taxpayers of the Vail School District and meet all the reporting requirements established by the Arizona Auditor General's Office. This budget was presented to the governing board on June 24th, 2025, and will be presented during the regularly scheduled board meeting for adoption. Is there anyone wishing to speak to the board or give comments tonight about the budget? Not seeing any, I will adjourn the meeting. I'll call for the vote. For all those to adjourn the meeting, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Not seeing any opposed, the motion carries. We will move on to the public hearing, the truth and taxation calculation. Per Arizona Revised Statute 15-905.01, the purpose of the truth and taxation public hearing is to inform the public that the district will be levying a tax to raise $200,000 in adjacent ways funds. The adjacent ways funds will be available for projects directly associated with improving public ways, directly benefiting school property, or to improve parts of the school district property directly related to safe access from public ways. The projected rate for this is 0.2481, which equates to $24.81 per $100,000 of assessed valuation, which is an estimated increase of 0.0267 from FY 24-25. Are there any public members of the public wishing to make a comment on this? Not seeing any. I will adjourn this meeting. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any. The motion carried. We will now, and I did forget to call that meeting to order. I'm going to estimate it was 7:04.
It was 7:04.
Perfect, thanks. So now at 7:05, I will call our regular board meeting to order. And I would love to invite you to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our next order of business is the approval of minutes from the governing board meeting on June 24th, 2025 as presented. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Buster. And then Mrs. Tippett as a second. Comments or questions? I don't think so. I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any. The motion carries. We'll move on to general functions. Our first item is staff, student, and community recognitions. Mr. Cruz.
Thank you, President Pratt and members of the board. We have a pretty lean front end of this in regards to staff, student, and community recognitions. As all forward momentum is being directed to sites to get schools up and running 1 week from yesterday and 1 week from Friday. So we do have a couple of hardy souls who should probably get extra gold stars who are here in attendance tonight for a few site recognitions. First up is Miss Rebecca Villalobos, followed by Mr. Chris Widosh.
Take the gold star. Thank you. Miss President Tippett. Nope. There's my gold star.
No,
President Pratt, members of the governing board, and Mr. Cruz. For recognitions tonight, I want to give a huge thank you to the outstanding facilities and maintenance departments for tackling the countless work orders submitted this summer. Thank you to your dedication and attention to detail. Our campus looks amazing and is fully ready and prepped to welcome families for Meet the Teacher Night this Thursday. Their behind-the-scenes efforts truly shine in every corner of our school. I want to specifically recognize Matt Beam, who's been so helpful this summer in completing various tasks for our campus. He was always there answering the phone and getting us whatever help we needed, no matter what. I would also like to recognize Cottonwood's exceptional instructional team leads, Sharon Hodges-Owen, Anna Kavanaugh, Jennifer Bliss, Jill Van Aslen, Cassidy Wolf, Lorena Fonseca, Lorena Sutton, Lindsay McCarthy, Lakin Murillo, Cassidy Tito, Paloma Monroy, and Abigail Cardenas. These incredible educators are the heart of our leadership team and the driving force behind our success. They work tirelessly to onboard new staff, guide academic initiatives, and lead meaningful change across our campus. Cottonwood thrives because of their unwavering commitment and vision and hard work. A special thank you also to our front office staff, Ms. Bermont and Ms. Thomas, for keeping our front office running smoothly throughout June. Their dedication to welcoming new families and supporting our community did not go unnoticed. Cottonwood is a warmer, more connected place because of their efforts. And lastly, I would like to thank Megan Nolan for supporting our newest teachers at NTI this past week. Today was the first day we welcomed our new teachers back to campus, and they were very well prepared and ready to jump right into any of the happenings on our site. Megan does a wonderful job of packaging materials for new staff to understand and equipping them with the tools that they need to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Villalobos. Mr. Widosh.
Good evening, President Pratt, Mr. Caruth, members of the governing board. Welcome back. It's great to have the school year rolling. Just to have our staff there has been great. First, I'd like to recognize my assistant to the principal, Katie Swoger. She was gone for like a week over the summer, and I could feel it. I do. I need her. She's absolutely incredible at her job. She mentioned the detail and for things, schedules and other logistics, which are not my strength, saves me daily. Her vast instructional knowledge base is passed on to our teachers and to our students. She bleeds Sanita green and blue and is truly a steward of the school's culture and really has put her fingerprints on every part of it. I'm grateful to have her as my partner in crime and also the friendship that we share off campus. It's not easy to welcome a new leader as she did a couple of years ago, and embrace of me was a critical component to getting started and being able to stay above water. And I am grateful for it and her support's advice. Also, to echo Ms. Villalobos, I want to recognize Facilities Supervisor Matt Beam for his consistent and immediate support. When a facility issues becomes apparent, it is often urgent, and Matt is ready to be called and to be helpful immediately. Last week, we had that big old monsoon blow through. At least it hit us up at the at Houghton and Bilby, and my goodness, we had leaks. I called Matt, sent him pictures. Within an hour, there was people checking out our site. By the next day, we had the roofing people up getting that fixed. So it's just, he was there to walk campus to help support me. And so, you know, the support that we get from our district entities like facilities allows us to do our job so much better. So I'm grateful for him. And finally, I'd like to recognize Dean Norris, Kim Valdez, and Rincon Vista Middle School. It's a privilege to share a campus with another school. Now, there's some logistics that come with that, but they're great to work with. Even though middle school is a completely different world than elementary, we share the same families, we share the same space. And so it's great to have good partners, you know, for something as little as, okay, who's using the NPR to big issues like if we're having a lockdown, right, or shelter in place. We have a great communication with them. And that's kind of, you know, our thin and veil is how well we, even though we're separate entities as a school, we work hard to get along and to support each other. So I'm grateful for that. Thank you. Good to see you all.
Thank you, Mr. Badash. There's a lot going on right now to get schools up and running, as two principals have noted. Here at the Calvin Baker Leadership Center, the focus has been on new teacher induction. Over the last week, we welcomed 110 new K-8 teachers, and today we welcomed, I think if I have the count correct, 23 new high school teachers. So all of that takes just a boatload of work to tee up and get ready to go. So I'd like to thank the following people for making that happen. First and foremost is Miss Megan Nowlin, who directs the instruction to those new teachers and does so much of the busy work behind the tasks that are necessary to tee that up. So in addition to Mrs. Nowlin, I'd like to thank Mr. Hurley, Ms. Kelly Pinkerton, Ms. Brandy Duimich, Raina Krasuski, Ms. Cinder Peterson, Aaron Cavazos, Lexi Pierce, who is a student who is here on loan from her mom, but has become, I think, an integral part of our staff this summer. She's been helping the entire Calvin Baker Leadership Center custodial staff, having another functionally doubling the size of this building and adding all the necessary needs to that is critical. I'd like to also thank Ms. Amy Osmond, who works closely with the curriculum department and has prepared the countless materials necessary to make that go. In addition, I'd like to thank all the principals, assistant principals, Airmark, our human resource staff, technology staff, site technology coordinators, that Micah Mountain Palm Line, who literally rolled out the red carpet for our new teachers, special education staff, counselors, who have provided the necessary training, including QPR or suicide prevention training, Mr. Justin Chesbrough and Beyond Textbooks. And I'd also like to thank Mr. Chris King, who has stopped by and also been a fixture on day one this year, at least, of each new teacher induction. So it's quite a production, as I make a point of telling all of our new teachers. We work really, really hard at creating conditions so that when they are here, this place screams, welcome, we're glad you were here. That is important for two critical reasons. One, because we've invested in them and we are excited that they are here. And on day one, we want to know that their success is out with us and how can we help them be the best professionals in their positions as possible moving forward. And two, we want to scream, welcome, we're glad you are here, because in one short week, we hope and expect that they create the same conditions for our true mission of welcoming the children of our community to our schools and want that same conditions in place for them when they arrive. So that's all we have for staff, student, community work conditions this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Pruitt. Our next item is call to the public and acknowledgement of public requests to speak at this time. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak to the board? Not seeing any, we'll move on to correspondence and reports. Our first item is the superintendent's report. Mr. Pruitt.
No report this evening.
We'll move on to board reports. Are there any board members who wish to make a report this evening? Mr. King?
Sure. All right. So as Mr. Cruz said, I have attended NTI day one, both this week or last week with the 110 new teachers. I will say the blue room was packed. There was barely room to change your mind, let alone move around. So I have pictures on my phone in case you would like to see that. It was really impressive. Then I was also there today with the other 23 new high school teachers and hearing those organic conversations, because I don't announce myself as a board member until later in the day. So I'm able to sit in there and actually have organic conversations with the teachers. One of the teachers that was in there sat across me today, Miss Sarah Hall. She's going to be a physics and chemistry teacher at Andrada. Her husband's military and they've moved around the world, and we sat there and had great conversations, but she comes in with a wealth of experience. And then next to her was a student teacher. This is like day one of professional development for her. So you can see that there's just this, symbolic grasping at straws there. And then right next to me was a young man who grew up in Vail and, attended both Corona Foothills and Empire. And he's back as a baseball coach and Cat Pride coach Cat Pride instructor at Cienega. So it's kind of that coming home piece. But those conversations that I get to have are organic and they're actually very meaningful. And you get to meet some really, really interesting people. But you also see people who been working with the district for quite a while, and they come in and they're like, you know what, I can do more. So, and it's absolutely great to see. So with that, I'd also like to parrot those thanks to Miss Megan Nolan and Lexi Pierce. By the way, if you haven't been around and you haven't seen her, she just brings this whole like 7th grade energy to the rooms. So it is like the coolest little thing, because she is like, if you watch the TV show MASH, right, and you remember the guy who played Radar O'Reilly, she's like that, only like more energetic. So it's like an amazing little thing to see. So additionally, I'd like to thank all those people, Megan, Lexi, Katie, Ethan, Kelly, all the people who came in, all the principals that come in. all the assistant principals that come in, because they come in and they make it welcoming. And if you haven't seen the red carpet experience that these new teachers get every year, and I've actually taken pictures of it, it really is something to see. But when you talk to these teachers that are coming in, especially these experienced teachers, it's like, I've never felt more welcome. I've never had this, new teacher induction is like, here's your book, here's your keys, and good luck, go forth and prosper. We'll see you at your evaluation. But seeing this and getting that feedback, that organic feedback from these new teachers, it sets a precedent for everybody else to kind of live up to. So again, those who made that possible, the HR team, everybody who really made that possible, it really is a big thank you from myself and the teachers that you actually made an impact on their life over the last couple weeks. I also attended the QPR training, the suicide prevention training last week with Amanda Cook. And if you think that it is something that you can just go in, it's just another professional development, check that and actually go in and sit and watch, because if you haven't been through that type of training and seen the impact that it has on the people actually attending it, when people walk out in tears because they've been impacted by that training, those are the things that really do make a difference. And it's making sure that it's not just our students, but our staff and our community members are actually able to be recipients of that as well. Outside of the district, I actually attended an Independence Day reading of the Declaration of Independence. So it's one of those annual things that I like to do. So, and yeah, there's my last couple weeks of fun.
Very good. Well, thank you, Mr. King. That does sound fun. Mrs. Tippett?
Had the opportunity to attend student registration this week at one of our local high schools, and just ran incredibly smooth. Just a lot of intentional effort made to help even someone who this is their first time ever on campus. We've just moved here as a family. What do I do? You know exactly which gate to walk in. You know exactly which direction to walk in. You've got somebody to welcome you as soon as you walk through that gate. Clearly marked signs pointing you in the right direction. And just a ton of people to help you along the way. And was kind of expecting to kind of wade through a lot of folks, and just moved through super quickly and efficiently. And process just went so well, and also had the opportunity to look at my kiddo's schedule and make adjustments as needed. And that process took maybe 15 minutes max. And just was so impressed at all the work and preparation that went into just making that process very easy for returning families and families who are also new to our community. Just really pleased and confident that the same process is happening at all of our excellent schools. So thanks for everybody that worked hard to make that happen.
Thank you, Mrs. Tippett. I have a similar report as Mrs. Tippett. I took my very brand new freshman for his high school registration today. And I think exactly what you're describing for new teacher induction is what these kids are feeling, this welcoming excitement. And it just really sets the stage for their whole framework of how they view their high school experience. So I'm so grateful just for everybody coming to make sure that everything was ready and prepared and organized. For us, it was similar. Everything was very, very smooth and lots of smiling faces and just a lot of excitement. So I know it feels an abrupt change to our summers, and we come back early, but just a huge thank you to everybody who's getting all those pieces in place for our students. So if there's no other board reports, we'll move on to our consent agenda. All items listed below are consent matters and will be considered by one motion at this time. There'll be no discussion of consent items. Any board member may remove an item from the consent agenda by request. All items not accepted and approved as part of the consent agenda will be considered individually. Do any board members wish to pull an item? Not seeing him. Mr. Griffin?
Thank you, Mr. Pratt, members of the board. It's recommended that the Vale School District Governing Board approve all items on the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. I'll accept a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Mrs. Tippett moves and Mr. King seconds. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We'll move on now to our new business section. The first item is the 2025-26 adopted district budget. This is an action item, Mr. Griffin.
Thank you, President Pratt, and members of the board. I feel like this is the terminus of a long journey. Mrs. Lenhart can help clarify anything that I mess up on in stating this, but functionally, the adoption of the proposed budget is a statutory requirement. It follows what happened at our last governing board meeting, the requirement to propose that budget and then also hold the public meeting, which we did this evening. So we are in compliance with that process. I'll simply state before Mrs. Lenhart fills in any additional details that the delay in the Arizona State finalizing the budget creates a situation where we have to use the previous year's forms, so the budget is proposed on those, but we have until mid-September to make the amendments to that and bring that forward to you. But the numbers basically, not basically, the numbers are the same as which we have been talking about for months. So with that, Ms. Lenhart, other details or you want to provide context to what I just said, that would be great.
We've got everything that we've been going over the last several months. So, as Bruce said, we had these preliminary budget forms on July 1st. The auditor general approved the new forms, which will bring back for another adoption. We'll have to go through the same exact motions where we have to have a public hearing and then have a adoption. So we'll use the real 100%.
And I just, for anybody who may be listening online, want to note that we begin our budget cycle really in January with the examination of our enrollment and enrollment projections at that time, and also preliminary discussions about what are possible needs that we're projecting into this next school year. And then Ms. Lenhart and Ms. Dabney and Ms. Wood go site by site, department by department, and meet with each group to understand what their needs are and understand what the staffing ratios are. And based on those combined pieces and with input along the way from the governing board via various study sessions and agenda items, craft what becomes our budget. And just want to say again, we were able to meet the needs of our schools in regard to the budget that's proposed, as well as adopt what functionally comes out to a 2% COLA for our staff moving forward. So it's good stuff and a very collaborative process. And with that, I'll go ahead and make the recommendation that the Vale School District Governing Board approve and adopt the district's 2025-2026 budget to include the truth in taxation as presented.
Thank you. I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the
Approve as
budget.
presented?
I think Mr. King finished it at least first. So we're going to say Mr. King and then Mr. Bester. Comments or question? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, just so I know. Okay, so comments or questions, and then we have to do a roll call vote.
No real comments or questions, just reiterating. So we will have to go through this process essentially one more time in about a month or so, kind of because of the delayed budget passed by the state.
Thank you, President Pratt. Mrs. Tippett, the preliminary forms are what we have to submit by statute. Functionally, a budget is a living document anyways, based on what our enrollment is and what our projections are, what our actual enrollment is. So we're evaluating that all along the way. But because we use the preliminary forms, we will have to do that by September 15th. of this year. But that's just one of probably at least another one or two revisions along the way that we'll make to this budget, depending upon what our actual enrollment is and revenue is.
Thank you.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Buster?
I just want to thank you. Again, I know we say that we've been starting the budgetary process since January. We know that you are continuously working the budget, working with the numbers, working with the school district, working with the leaders throughout the school district, working with the community on a regular basis. And I look at those individuals that have to keep a mindful eye on the purse strings, because without you, we can't do the invaluable work that we do each and every day for the 15,000 young people that demand it. And then, of course, our parents, the community as a whole, that want to make sure that we are penny pitching, and you do it and you do it well. So again, as other school districts throughout the state, and dare I say throughout the nation, are closing schools because of the enormous growth that we're seeing, we're thriving in this environment. We're being successful to our core mission and role to make sure we're educating and making these young people very successful in life. And when it comes really right down to it, it comes to you doing your job and doing it so extraordinarily well. So thank you for what you do each and every day.
Very well said. Thank you very much. If there's no other comments or questions, then Mrs. Peterson, do you want to do the roll call vote?
Yes. Allison Pratt,
Aye.
Kelly Tippett,
Aye.
Chris King,
Aye.
Ed Buster.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you. Our next item is the RFP 26-001-30, the audit services, also mentioned it. Mr. Ruth.
Thank you, President Pratt, members of the board. It's probably appropriate that the audit services RFP comes on the heels of adopting a budget, because people want to know what we actually do, what we say we're doing. By statute, we're required to undergo a third-party audit every year. And like the budget, that audit in many ways is an ongoing audit and an audit process. We must go out to RFP for those services. And that's what this agenda item is addressing. The RFP went out via our standard request for proposal process. And in specific regard to the audit RFP, it's also has additional requirements that we must have a contract with a qualified certified public accountant to conduct an annual audit of financial transactions and accounts kept by the district, subject to Title II of the USFR and the Uniform Administrative Requirements, cost principles, and audit requirements of federal awards. The solicitation was written as a one-year term with the option to renew annually for up to 4 more years thereafter. After review of those respondents, in which in this case we only had one respondent to the RFP, and although that was the case, the solicitation was publicly advertised in accordance with our standard Arizona Administrative Code. And after reviewing that sole proposal that we received, the district requested a best and final offer to ensure that the proposal and cost are reflected of a fair pricing, and they were. And with that, I'll go ahead and make the recommendation that the Vail School District Governing Board award contract RFP 26-001-30 audit services to Heinfield, Meach & Co. PC as a single award as presented.
Thank you. I'll accept a motion.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Mr. Buster and Mr. King, comments or questions? No? Pretty straightforward. If there's no comments or questions, then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We'll move on to our last item under new business. It's policy update GDD. support staff, vacations, and holidays action. This is an action item. Mr. Booth.
Thank you, President Pratt, and members of the board. Functionally, this is just a cleanup of language from a policy that was adopted in May of 2017. The proposed language changes are to help some confusion, I think, that the language in the policy had been causing between employees and our human resources staff. And functionally, the intent of the policy was adopted in 2017. So there really is no while there's language change, the intent of its implementation remains the same and consistent, and is intended to help our HR staff work with the rest of our staff on understanding what those vacation policies are. Fundamentally, it's really breaks down into two groups of employees: those that work 250 days or more, and those that work and are board approved for less than 250 days, 249 or less, and then when they begin that process. So some of the confusion had to do with the number of holidays that were available to them. Those that work, so we have a whole range of people who work less than 249 days or less. The overwhelming majority of them work 190 days, which follows the school calendar. The intent was that they would have 10 holidays, and that is described in the language. For all those that worked more than 190 days, up to 240 days, the intent was that they would have 12 holidays, generally including the July 4th and Memorial Day holiday, because that fell within their purview. And then those that worked 250 days or more received 2 additional holiday days, the day after rodeo break and then Good Friday. So the intent of the language as it's described is to help clean up that the intent of the original language, just so that it's clearer. So that's why we brought forth as an action, because it's really not a change, it's just a clarification. But if you have any questions or anything or want to delay that, we're fine with that. It's really just intended for a language change. With that, I'll go ahead and make the recommendation the Vail School District Governing Board approve the updated policy GDD support staff vacations and holidays as presented.
Thank you. I'll accept a motion.
I'll move.
Mrs. Tippett?
Second.
Mr. King, comments or questions? Mrs. Tippett?
Going through this at my place of employment right now, just trying to clean up language and make clarifications so staff knows and understands exactly what's happening. I think it's helpful just to line it out in a way that they can understand more clearly, because it's always best when they can just take a look and go, oh, yes, of course, I see. So thankful for the effort to help provide clarity.
Exactly. Thank you, Mrs. Tippett. Any other comments or questions? All right, if not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. We will end with our last item, which is adjournment. I will recommend that we adjourn at 7:37.
So moved. Second.
So Mr. Bester, Mr. King, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Not seeing any, the motion carries. Thank you. This might be a record.
It might be a record.